Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Loving Life Beauty here on YouTube. I am a full-time reseller and love doing what I do. Also just love being here on YouTube with y'all, sharing my journey with you. And first off, I'd like to say, first of all, happy 4th of July. Today is the 4th while I'm recording this. I'm getting a little bit of business done before we head out and go have some fun ourselves later this afternoon. We just had a massive thunderstorm again this morning for a few hours. So we woke up to that, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to take some time to just kind of have a little bit of a leisure day and get some business done. Knew I wanted to get this video out to y'all by tomorrow. So I was brainstorming some things. As y'all know, each week I try to come up with something kind of unique and creative, and some of it has been a little bit of the same, but at the same time a little bit different in the things we're discussing. We're going to discuss brands again today, you guys, but it's going to be a little bit different this time. And I do hope this also is a blessing to you, so stay tuned to see what we're going to talk about this time. Okay guys, I'm excited to bring this to you. After watching some videos lately, we are now in July, which means the first part of 2023 is over. And not only is it over, but we're going to be heading in here very shortly to the busiest season of the year, in my opinion. Yes, we are in a slow slump right now because it is summer. But as we've been talking about, we know that once this season passes, it hopefully will get crazy because we're going to have lots of people looking for holiday things, whether it's clothes, the school year, and once it's not just the school year, it's not just the beginning of school year clothes. And you got your homecomings coming up. So you got girls looking for dresses. You have people looking at holiday parties, Halloween parties, family get-togethers, dinners for work. I mean, there's so many variables to what people could be looking for between now and January. It's just vast, okay? So I thought what I would do was talk about things that have been selling well for me and things that have changed even in the last 6 or 8 months in reselling since I started about 1.5 years ago with brands in mind. I'm going to share with you brands that are working really well for me right now, and brands that, when you first start out reselling, we kind of talked about this, where you have to kind of find your niche, because I truly believe that after being in reselling for a while and realizing that different states, and I get this based off of watching other videos. This is one of the reasons why I do investigate other videos, not just to find out what sells for them, what they pick up locally, what they get from other people in different states that they buy from, is that not every state has the same provision of brands that other states do. For example, I know from watching a gal who lives in Florida, they have a lot of access to Lilly Pulitzer. She's even admitted that they find a lot of Lilly Pulitzer where they live. Then I know somebody who lives in Canada. She has a lot of access to Lululemon and Aritzia brands. She pays up for some of her items, but she also sells them for really good price. And she is very particular about the brands, but she has a lot of access to Aritzia and Lululemon, and she sells it very well. She also has a lot of access to Free People. She does a lot of Free People. And she doesn't shop at bins either, guys. These are just thrift stores for her. This is very normal for her. And then there's other people that I know of in like Portland who have access to other brands, have access to a few bins in their area, and just a lot of bread and butter pieces that they can also find at the bins. Good brands. That are, very local to them, such as this person can pick up a lot of Lulu. They find nice gown pieces. They find nice pieces at the bins, a lot of bread and butter at the bins. Lots of good women's pieces. When they find Patagonia, it's a great deal. So I do know that different states have provisions. And I also know for me out here, specifically where I live in South Dakota, a lot of those brands, y'all, I don't find anywhere around here. So I do think that sourcing, depending on what state you live in, is a big factor as far as brands. Out here, if I find those brands, I've been really surprised when I've gone sourcing at not thrift stores, but garage sales, the brands that I found at garage sales that I do not find in thrift stores this year. I have been very, very pleased with some of the brands that I found doing garage sales compared to thrift stores, which I found interesting. And that could be just that some people move and they have those brands from where they came from and they brought it with them and then they decide to get rid of it because they're moving again. Who knows? So I do have found it rather interesting living where I live, the different types of brands that are available to me and sourcing the different brands that I find. Because I don't know if you all know, but I've been sourcing through other people who live in different states. I've been having some people sourcing for me. If you'd like me to do some video hauls on things that I'm getting sourced to me from other states, do let me know in the comments below, because I am sourcing from companies online. But as of the last 4 or 5 months, I've also been sourcing from people, whether it's through Instagram or people that have been reaching out to me from my videos. I'm saying, yeah, I'm happy to check out things from my bin. So I have been sourcing from other people. They have a list of things that I'm looking for and they source those items. So I'm getting items sourced to me from other states as well, which has been a blessing to me also. So let me know if you'd like me to do some unboxings or some hauls from those boxes as well, from private people who were sending me pieces. So again, I do believe that different states defer to different brands that sell really well. And I do also think that different states, some brands sell better in some states than others, because I've watched some videos where some brands sell really well for some people, like fig scrubs. I can't sell my fig scrubs for the life of me, but one gal that I follow who lives in Portland, she sells it really, really well. And I have mine priced at the same price bracket she has her sold at. Lily Pulitzer does not sell very well for me either. And I have some Lily Pulitzer pieces in my closet that just aren't moving. And then there are other things like Patagonia I have not access to, but I have it, if I have it listed, it sells really well for me. So let's dive into these brands, y'all. I would love for y'all, once I get through this list, please feel free to grab a cup of coffee. This list is a little bit long. I'm going to kind of take my time with it, but not take too long with this video. I'm hoping to keep it under 30-40 minutes, but I don't want to rush this, because I think since we are running into the season where it's the fastest season of the year as far as selling, this is a great time to kind of think through what brands have been selling really well for us, depending on the state you live in when you have access to, and what brands don't. So that as we're sourcing over the next few months, going to the Christmas season and the holiday seasons, the school year seasons, the homecoming seasons, people's work party seasons, this is the time of year. And I know the work parties happen, guys, because my husband used to work for companies where they do work parties and they dress up for them. So I know that these do happen. So let's dive into this. The first piece I'm going to talk about is Lululemon, and I'm going to try to share with you if this sells well for me. If I do sell it, and if I do source it where I source it from, and typically how long it takes me to sell it. I would love to know in the comments below, you guys, what pieces do well for you. Do you source it locally? Do you sell it through boxes? What pieces sell really well for others that you can't sell well at all where you live? Okay, so Lululemon is the first one. Oh, dear Lululemon. We've talked about this before, y'all. We know that Lululemon used to be huge. In fact, this is one of those brands that when I first started out, I so desperately wanted to get my hands on, and I cannot find it locally here at all. Unless I do garage sales. I have found Lululemon at garage sales, but I've also found Lululemon at garage sales even here. They price it up, so I've not even purchased it at garage sales because I wasn't going to pay $10, $15 for one piece of garage sales because they priced it up really high. I have also noticed that if I get Lululemon in boxes, it has kind of sold for me, but to be honest with you, even though I reasonably priced it, Lululemon just doesn't move for me. I will note, though, that the Lululemon pieces that I have picked up in boxes has been through ThredUp, and they've been the activewear boxes. If I've gotten Lululemon, it's there. And a lot of the sizing has been extra small or small, which doesn't sell very well for me. So I do still have some pieces in my closet that I'm still trying to sell off. Now, I think if it was like a large or extra large piece, and it was leggings or maybe like a jacket or something, it probably wouldn't sit for long. But right now, I do have Lululemon, and I also truly believe, like I mentioned before, even lives when I was doing Whatnot, it just got so saturated. And I do think that right now, Lululemon, everybody says, oh my gosh, it's such a great thing. I have to have it. I think it's become saturated. Now, the reason why I think people say they have to have it is because there are people who have Lululemon that it's become one of those brands that's a bread and butter brand for people to wear. So it became a bread and butter thing for people to sell because everybody wanted it to wear it. But now this becomes so saturated because everybody is trying to resell it to those who love it, wearing it. It has become oversaturated on platforms, especially Poshmark, in my opinion, and Lives. And the thing about Lives, whether you're doing it on Whatnot or Poshmark, because everybody's looking for it, it gets priced through the roof. Or people are looking for it super, super cheap, so it sells really, really low if somebody has it. And they don't have a lot of people in their lives. So anyway, that's just kind of my opinion on Lululemon. I don't purposely seek it out. Even if I see it and find it, I would definitely run a comp on it, and it has to be a good piece. I am very selective with Lululemon if I pick it up. Okay, SPANX. SPANX is another one of those items that I think used to be really, really popular, maybe like 6 months to a year ago. Everybody could sell SPANX really well. Now, I do think that depending on the piece and what you have it listed at and what it's made of and the size as to how well it sells. There's another shapewear brand that came out here really recently. And to be honest with you, I can't remember what the brand is, but it's not SPANX. It was sold really, really well on Whatnot when I was really, really into Whatnot a few months ago. There's a gal on Whatnot who sells this brand, and I don't remember what it is. If you know what it is, comment down below. But I think it's overpowered SPANX, and people aren't looking for SPANX as much as that other shapewear brand. Again, if you remember what that shapewear brand is, I knew I should have grabbed some water. Okay, sorry about that. I had to go grab some water. When I do these videos, y'all know my throat gets kind of dry and I start coughing. Okay, so talking about SPANX. Like I said, if you know what that brand is, I will try to remember to do some research. Sorry, I was running up and down my stairs, I'm out of breath. I will try to remember to do some research to put up here for you what that brand is. But anyway, SPANX used to be really, really popular. I have SPANX currently in my closet. I have quite a few pieces, and they just aren't moving. And they're not listed really high either, like $25. So, and those are just like, you know, the shapers kind of things. So, yeah, SPANX, I think, used to do really, really well. But again, there are other brands that have come out on the market, and I think in the last 6 or 8 months, it's slowed down. Again, I think it depends on the piece. Like if you have some jeans or leggings that are like a large or an extra large, those might go faster than like shapewear. I honestly don't know. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Figs. This is one that really surprised me. And when I did my research, like even 6 or 8 months ago, when you're first starting out and you're going from mall brands that you start out with that a lot of people do, which some mall brands still sell well, we'll talk about that. Going into like some of the brands we're talking about now, when you all start out, no matter how much research you do, you still have to go through the growth process, okay? So some of these brands I didn't even learn about until easily 8, 10 months, maybe a year into my business, because as you learn and grow and you watch more videos, you learn from other people, you source more, it's just a growth spurt, right? I hadn't even heard of figs. So when I did hear about figs and heard how well they did, I picked some up. And I had to pick some up on a Whatnot auction because I can't find them locally anywhere. And I don't even see them out like when I've been out in garage sales. I do look at scrubs at garage sales and I never find figs. I did get some through an online auction on Whatnot several months ago, and I was so excited because I picked them up for like $3 or $4, super cheap, and they included a bunch of other things that I picked up, so the shipping was free. I had them listed kind of high, and I have them listed even at $25 right now, and they still have not sold. I know other people who buy figs, and they sell so stinking fast they can't keep it in their closet. I don't know why, but these figs aren't moving. Again, and it doesn't give you the option to put them under like medical when you do like the description. You scroll down under women, because some people mention you should make sure you put it under medical. Not all platforms have the ability to put them under medical or scrubs, so you can only put them under shirts. Which I have them under but I do have like medical, CNA, things like that in my description for keywords, and they're still not selling. So I don't know why it is that these aren't moving, but they aren't moving for you. Levi's, dear old Levi's. Levi's used to be so popular when I was like in my 20s. You could buy button fly Levi jeans and everybody loved them. Now Levi's have expanded out so many different things, and of course there's the Levi's that aren't true Levi's. Levi wedge jeans is what the thing is that I've been hearing that people say do really, really well. Again, I don't have access to Levi wedge jeans. I have tried in my thrift stores. I really don't see them. Of course, I don't know that I've looked specifically for wedge, so I might have to do that, but I don't go to my thrift stores nearly as often as I used to. If you sell Levi jeans, not wedge jeans, but Levi jeans in general, just Levi jeans, for women, please let me know in the comments. I sell men's Levi jeans, but women's just Levi jeans do not sell for me. Of course, I have to be honest with you. Jeans in general, for me, in women's, do not sell for me. Which brings up the next brand, Madewell. Madewell was that one that everybody was talking about even 8 months ago, 10 months ago. Oh my gosh, you have to pick up Madewell because they're the hotcakes of the season. I got Madewell in a bunch of ThredUp boxes, plus access through other sourcing. I picked up Madewell jeans, did some online arbitrage, got some Madewell jeans, paid up a little bit for them, and they don't sell for me. And that's I did list them high because when everybody was talking about it before, people were talking about listing it for $50, $60. They turned around and flipped them for $40, maybe $50. So I had them listed high, and then I brought the price down after several months. And even now, I have my Madewell jeans listed at $35 on most of my sites, you guys. I have a few pairs, and they are not selling at all. Even if I got an offer for $25, I would sell them because I just want to get rid of them. Madewell just is not moving for me, and everybody had a big hype about them. I don't see them selling well. I do not sell them well. So that is one of those things that I am really, really particular about. If I did find it sourcing, I would definitely run a comp, and depending on what I had to pay for them, would be determining whether or not I would actually pick them up. American Eagle. This is another one of those things where I've seen so many people on some videos where they pick up American Eagle and it does really well for them. I cannot sell American Eagle. Again, this is one of those things where I got a bunch of them when I did ThredUp denim boxes, and I was super excited because the cog was so low and everybody was saying it was so well for you. I am still sitting on a lot of American Eagle jeans that are just not selling, and it's not like I have a listed high. I'm thinking like 20, 25 bucks, maybe 35. Even if I got an offer, which I don't get offer on American Eagle anything. I don't get offers on American Eagle anything. So I honestly do not pick up American Eagle. It just doesn't work for me. The next brand we're going to talk about is one of my most recent favorites, to be honest with you. When I first started out selling, I did not sell a lot of women's plus size pieces. I sold more men's plus size pieces than women's. But since then, and after being on Whatnot, I did notice that when I watched plus sizes for women's, Torrid and Lane Bryant were definitely a thing to go for. So I did more research on my own just to try and figure it out. And I do have access to Torrid and Lane Bryant in my local stores, as well as, locally here at garage sales and sourcing online. So I decided to look into it, and Torrid is doing very well for me. If I list it, usually within weeks or a couple months, it is selling. Plus size pieces, anything over 1X for Torrid does very well for me. I would love to know in the comments below if Torrid does well for you as well. Okay, I included in these brands also men's pieces too, you guys. And as far as kids go, you all, I'm going to be very honest with you. I love selling kids clothes. You want to know why? Yes, there are the popular brands like, like Bowden and all those other things, Lilly, Pulitzer and all that do really well for people, right? But I also love how with kids clothes, even the cheaper brands do well, because when moms shop for kids clothes, yeah, there's some people who shop for the particulars of the brands. But I found whether it's through lives or online, it doesn't matter the brand. If it's in good shape and it works for their sizing and it's priced good, it sells. I do love selling kids clothes. It doesn't sell for a lot like adult clothes, but it still sells. Okay, Anthropologie, guys. Anthropologie is definitely one of those brands. It diverses out, right? There's different sub-brands of Anthropologie, just like Revolve. There's different sub-brands of Revolve. And it's Anthropologie is one of those things where, thank goodness, it's not saturated. I do think that depending on the piece, like, for example, if it's a tank top, it's obviously not going to sell for nearly as much as like jeans or a dress. So if I run into Anthropologie, depending on my cog, like I would not pay $8 for a tank top. $8 for a nice flowy dress, maybe, right? Or a jumpsuit, right? Because you can turn around and sell it for more. So I do think with Anthropologie, some people go all crazy. This is one of those brands where if you find it through like ThredUp or Boutique by the Box or, oh gosh, what's the other, I'm totally skipping on them. Other company that a lot of people buy from. Helpsy stores. They do these boxes, but the cog is really high. I have to be really careful with those boxes, and I tend to not buy them when they're Anthropologie because the cog is usually like $8 or $10 or more for the box. But again, if you don't know what's coming in the box, you can get a tank top that they have, the cog is like $11. You're not going to make your money back on that piece. And you just don't know what you're going to get. So for me with Anthropologie, it has to be privately sourced, like what I've been talking about when I get from other people, and my cog is good, or other ways. You know I don't see Anthropologie in my thrift stores. If I do find it out in the wild, yes, I'll probably pick it up at a garage sale. So Anthropologie is one of those really great brands, but again, your cog has to be right, because again, if you get it in a box and it's a tank top or a skirt or like some jeans that don't sell well or something like that, you do have to be mindful. So I would definitely run comps. I'd be very mindful for me when I'm sourcing Anthropologie of anything. I'm very careful if it's a box. Very, very careful. Even through Boutique by the Box. Even some of their brands with Anthropologie are way too high in their cog. Okay, this is a men's brand that I love selling, and I don't ever hear it mentioned in brands. Anytime somebody does a video, of course, a lot of people when they do brand videos, they do it on just women's. They do it on men's, unless you're watching a gentleman's video where they sell men's and women's. And of course, a lot of reseller men do focus on men's brands, right? Because they're men and that's what they do well with. I don't typically see brands videos where they talk about men's brands that sell really well. And it drives me crazy because, I just shouldn't say it drives me crazy. There are a lot of men's brands that you guys are missing out on that do very well, that you can source in thrift stores, through hauls, even out in the wild. There are a lot of great men's brands that you can be finding, and not Patagonia, that do very well. And Peter Millar is one. I have found Peter Millar out in the wild, and it does very well for me. I've got Peter Millar in men's boxes through ThredUp, through Helpsy Source. It is one of those brands that does sell well. It may not sell for a really high price, but I'm thinking like $30, $40. You could sell Peter Millar. And if your cog is $5, $6, it is a great brand to pick up. So if you're not keeping an eye out on Peter Millar, I highly recommend it as a brand, especially if you find it at the bins, y'all. Do not pass Peter Millar up. If it's in good shape and it's a good piece, shirts do well, shorts do well. Yeah, it's just a great brand to pick up. The next brand everybody loves. I've gotten this in Nordstrom boxes through of course, my mind just completely skips out on me. I'll get back to that. I've gotten this also through sourcing through other people. I have gotten it, like I said, through ThredUp and other brands, and then I'm sitting there trying to think of what that liquidation company was that all of us have been talking about, and it's just completely skipped my mind. I will note it over here. But I've gotten VIONIC in those boxes as well, and they did very well. VIONIC, even for women, I got women VIONIC in those boxes, and they did very well. And it can sell. I got VIONIC women's leggings that were pre-owned, sold for $35. I've had VIONIC and other men's pieces that do very well. So if you ever run into VIONIC out in the wild, in boxes or anything like that, definitely check your comps, because sometimes you will price it too low thinking it doesn't sell well, and you can price it higher. So do double check your comps, because especially if you're new at it, you may think, oh, well, if these are leggings, you might put them up for like $25. Again, I sold women's leggings pre-owned for $35. And anytime I have men's VIONIC, and I'd rather price it up and take a lower offer anyway. So VIONIC is definitely one of those, you can price it up, and if you get an offer, jump on it, right? Okay, and of course, it's still going to bug me that I can't think of that company. Patagonia. This is one of those brands that when you get it, it does very, very well. But finding it is impossible. I do not find Patagonia out here unless it's in the wild. And if I find it in the wild, the garage sales is typically pretty used, or it's in really good condition. and they have it priced up. The cheapest that I've ever found Patagonia in the wild is like $15, and it's been like jackets, like, you know, sweat jackets or really nice length jackets. They're not just like the cheap ones. And anything that I have picked up, even if it was $15, I was able to sell for between like $50 and $70. Again, I was very meticulous and particular with the brands. And again, the cheapest that I could find it in the wild was around $15, because people know Patagonia. They know that it sells well. I've also been at garage sales where people are trying to sell Patagonia for like $40 to $50 because they bought it really, really high and they didn't end up using it, and they think other people are going to pay that. Now, if you're not reselling, that's a great price for Patagonia, especially if it's in really good condition. But for reselling, no, you're not going to make your money at $40. Okay, Columbia Sportswear. This is one of those brands that I find interesting. I picked up quite a bit of it in thrift stores when I first started out, because if it's in good condition, it can sell. You're not going to make a lot for it. But if you're only paying $5 or $6 for the piece, you can turn around and sell it for like $18 or $20, maybe $25 for sweatshirts, things like that. But this was one of those brands that I was so excited when I first started out. Oh my gosh, I found it. And I have sold some pieces. You can also find jackets that can do well. I have noticed recently, though, in the last 6 or 8 months, that some people don't like Columbia Sportswear. If they find it at the bins, they completely pass on it. For some people also, though, I have found that they do pick it up, especially if it's at the bins or they only pay $3 or $4 for it out and about in the wild. They pick it up because, again, they know they can sell it for $20 or for $25. And if they're not looking particularly to make, you know, triple, quadruple their money, they do well. I'm curious for you all if Columbia Sportswear does well. I have Columbia Sportswear shirts that I get from men's in men's boxes that do well, especially if they're vintage shirts and they're plus size. They do very well for me. Men's, like the kind of like the outdoor gear shirts that are button up. They're Columbia Sportswear. They're vented in the back. They're short sleeved. They're like an extra large or a double extra large, and they're Columbia Sportswear vintage shirts for men. Those do well for me. So depending on what the Columbia Sportswear is, they can do well. However, if I have Columbia Sportswear like ATHLETA gear, you know, or like sweatshirts, zip up sweatshirts that are kind of beat up, I haven't picked those up very much anymore. I just don't do very much with those. If I get them in the box, I will list it around $20 or $25 because my coggin is probably going to be like $3 or $4 because I am very particular how I do that. They do sell for me, and I do double or triple my money because my cog is so low. Again, the cog is really low. So, Columbia Sportswear, I'm curious if you guys are particular about the brand, and if you do pick it up, how you pick it up, and if it does okay for you. Okay. The next one is Lilly Pulitzer. This is definitely one of those brands where it doesn't sell everywhere. Again, I have a friend who lives in somebody who lives in Florida. She's a YouTuber I watch. She finds it everywhere. I mean, Lilly Pulitzer, she does very well with it. She goes to the bins and she finds it. She goes out sourcing. She finds it in her stores, thrift stores. She gets it in boxes. And that's mainly, honestly, how I have had Lilly Pulitzer, is through boxes. I've gotten it through thread-up fun boxes. I've gotten it through kids' thread-up boxes. But I don't see it out in the wild. And if I do see it out in the wild, like at a garage sale, which I haven't found at garage sales. Oh, I found Lilly Pulitzer kids in garage sales, but not women's. It's usually priced up. And with kids' pieces, I've been fortunate to get it for like $4 or $5. And yes, that is a great cog for Kids Lilly, because even for Kids Lilly Pulitzer, I can list it for between like $20 and $30, and it does sell. So, Lilly Pulitzer is one of those brands that it does sell really well. It is very popular. It has a great following. The thing that I like about Lilly Pulitzer is it's made well. It's just the pieces are made really well, and people love the brand. So if I do find it, I do comp it for women's pieces, because I think Lilly Pulitzer, depending on what state you live in, the price that it bracket that it lists at and sells at, I think kind of fluctuates. So again, COG is a huge factor in my opinion for Lilly Pulitzer. I would never pay, even for a women's piece, $8 or $10 for it. I just wouldn't. If I've been at the thrift store, I would not pay that much unless it was a really new with tags, like a dress or something, a really, really nice piece, and I ran a comp on it. It was selling for $50. I would not pay that much for it. So, it is one of those pieces that is great. Bowden, I have found at the thrift stores. Bowden is one of those brands I really, really enjoy. I also do really well with kids' Bowden pieces. So if I find it, like I found skirts in my thrift stores. The thing is that maybe I have them listed too high. I think I'm going to have mine listed at like $25, $30, so I may need to reduce my price and do skirts more like at $15. Skirts, one of those things that it's like shorts. Even if it should sell higher, it typically sells around $15 for shorts and skirts, right? No matter what the brand is, they just don't sell high. Even Patagonia skirts, I don't find that they would sell high. And when I see them, you know, on comps. So maybe I just have mine listed too high. But Bowden is a great brand. I love it anytime I see it, whether it's kids' clothes or women's clothes. In fact, if I could find a Bowden skirt for me or anything Bowden, I think I would like it because I think it's made well. LULU'S. LULU'S is another great one. I have gotten it in my boxes. Every time I say boxes, I'm trying to think of what that company name is. Okay, so LULU'S does well for me, whether it's dresses, tops, things like that, especially dresses. I have got LULU'S in my boxes, and they do very well for me. They typically sell anywhere from like $20 to $30, and depending on how nice the piece is, whether it's new with tags, if it's a gown dress, then it sells for more. My shorter Lulu dresses, like just like an out and about dress, I'm probably thinking $20, $25 is what it's going to sell around. The nicer pieces I can sell for between $30 to $40. Again, if your conch is low, like $5 or $6 or something, it's worth picking up, especially new with tags. Okay, Nike. This is one of those brands that I'm just embarrassed about, okay? Nike is one of those things when I first started out, I don't know if you guys remember, if you're going back with me on some of my old YouTube videos, I got Nike through Helpsy source, and I was so excited last spring to pick up a Nike box thinking it would do so great. I still have a lot of those pieces. I have Nike listed, I have skirts, I have tank tops, I have all kinds of athletic gear, and it just sits. Even if it's only listed for $25, it just sits. I do get likes, but it just doesn't sell. So I know now, for me, I do not pick up Nike. And I've noticed on sold videos for people, Nike doesn't sell in those videos either. Athletic wear is sold in those videos, but Nike is not one. So no, I do not specifically pick up Nike anymore. If I run into it, no matter where it is, I just don't pick it up. Even if I saw it for like $1, I don't pick it up because I don't want to mess with it. It's just not one of those brands I think that people are looking for. Okay, speaking of brands looking for, some people, when I see them going out doing their sourcing or their sold videos, they do Under Armour. I have Under Armour. I've picked up Under Armour. I did Under Armour through Helpsy Source box. Under Armour was one of the athletic boxes. I did a specific Nike box through Helpsy Source and then an athletic box. Got a lot of Under Armour in there. It doesn't sell for me, even if I have it listed at $25. Now, another gal that I follow on YouTube, she's really, really huge in YouTube. She's been doing eBay for years and years. When she's out sourcing, she always picks up Under Armour. She said it's just a basic bolo brand for her. She's listed and sells it for around $20 or $25. Even though I have mine listed at the same price, it just doesn't move. So, no, I do not specifically pick up Under Armour, and yes, I see it everywhere. Men's Under Armour actually does better if I sell it than women's does. That's actually a tip. If I find men's Under Armour, especially polo shirts, those might sell because men are looking for polo shirts. But women's pieces, no, they don't sell for me. Even skirts, they just don't sell for me. Okay, the next one is definitely one of my more favorite brands recently. EILEEN Fisher. I don't have access to EILEEN Fisher locally in my thrift stores. So if I get it, is through boxes or if I source online. Now, several months ago, I was doing a lot of sourcing through Whatnot when I was really big on Whatnot. I still source through Whatnot. I recently sourced some more stuff through Whatnot. I just got the box the other day. This one gal who sources at the bins, I got a lot of stuff from her for EILEEN Fisher, and they've all sold. They have all sold. So yes, I definitely keep my eye out for EILEEN Fisher, especially plus sizes. VIONIC. VIONIC is one of those brands where I don't see it in clothes, but I see it in shoes. In fact, just recently, we were out sourcing a garage sale, and I found VIONIC shoes. VIONIC shoes for $5. And they're my size. I'm tempted to keep them because they're brown shoes for the winter season. Kind of tempted to keep them. But I know that I probably should resell them because they probably do very, very well this fall for shoes because they're like those ankle boots. and they're in really good condition. I'm not going to send the box with them because they're not new. They are used. They just left them in the box for selling. But VIONIC shoes for $5 this fall to resell would definitely be a great thing. So I probably won't keep them. I probably will sell them because I want the money. But VIONIC is definitely one of those brands. I don't ever see. Do you guys see VIONIC in clothes? Do you see VIONIC in clothes at all? Because I don't see it in clothes, but I see it in shoes. I don't know if they make clothes. Okay, Judy Blue's another one of those brands, you guys. I've heard a few people talk about how it's such a great brand. It's doing really well for them. It's kind of one of the newer brands out in there, out in the field that people are talking about. I don't see Judy Blue anywhere. Anywhere. Not even out in the wild I haven't seen Judy Blue. So if I got it, it would be sourcing through other people. So I can't say whether or not it sells well for me or not because I haven't found it. I do keep an eye out for it because everybody's talking about it. Again, I hope if I do get it that it does well because, again, brands that everybody's been talking about that I've been, looking for nicer brands, just because it's a nicer brand doesn't mean it sells really well for you all the time, right? That's one thing I've noticed. When I'm out looking for the nicer brands that everybody's talking about, it sells really well for them. Not everybody sells every nice brand really well, which I find interesting. Have you guys noticed that? Nicer brands that do really well for some people don't do really well for everybody. Have you noticed that? I've noticed that recently. Okay, the next two brands are one of those brands that I have talked about in the past where it was such a big roar about 8-10 months ago when I was diving into the nicer brands. I even did some online sourcing through these things, arbitrage, got them in boxes. Let's put these both here. Paige and Everlane. They just don't sell. I have sold some Paige and Everlane jeans, but they don't sell high at all. At all. And now I'm not selling them at all. I probably need to relist and delist some of my items. But Paige jeans just do not sell well for me. Or in Everlane. If I do sell them, I'm lucky if I get $25 for them. But when I first started out and I was hearing about Paige and Everlane, it was the talk of the season. Pick up Paige Everlane because they do so well. You can get $40, $50 for them. I pick them up for $8. They'll sell. They'll flip really quick. Mine didn't sell and flip really quick. And most of my jeans that I got that were Everlane and Paige, I got through denim thread-up boxes, and they were like $1 for the cog, and they still didn't sell. And again, I did online arbitrage because I heard they did so well. Paid like $10 or $11 for jeans. They're still sitting there. So I was really, really disappointed with those two brands. Tell me in the comments below if Paige and Everlane jeans do well for you. Okay, the next brand is one of those when I started out. I did a lot of online sourcing, and this was way back when it was still, it wasn't Helpsy Source. I can't remember the name of the company now. But it was the company before Helpsy Source. And I ordered ZARA. And this was way back when I was still on Depop. I mean, this was like last fall. This was like almost a year ago that I picked up ZARA. And I got a box of not just vintage, but just women's clothes. And ZARA was a lot of those boxes. Some sold and some didn't. Now, I follow a gal on YouTube. She specifically seeks out ZARA on Helpsy Source because she sells it like hotcakes. I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't sell well for me. But ZARA, kids' clothes do fine for me if I have ZARA kids' clothes. But ZARA women's, they just don't sell well for me. I still have some pieces from those boxes last fall in my closet. I even have like really cute skirts in ZARA. Women's skirts in ZARA. Even listed at $25. They just aren't selling. Okay, the next one is Talbot's. This again was one of those brands when I first started out. People saying, oh my gosh, this is so great. The people that I was following on YouTube, they said, you got to pick up Talbot's because it's so great. And then there are other people who I hear, they can't stand Talbot's. It just doesn't sell well for them. I do think now that I've been doing this for a little longer than like last fall, for me, Talbot's pieces is one of those things that I'm very particular with. If it's like large or bigger, I pick it up if it's a nice piece. If it's a medium, it has to be like a jacket or a really nice piece or a dress or something. But yeah, I'm very, very particular with Talbot's now. If I pick it up, for a long time, I didn't pick it up at all. Recently, I've been having people source for me, and they have had Talbot's, and I have picked it up, and it is doing better now, but I'm more particular with the pieces that I've been picking up. Okay, I'm going to try and pick this up a little bit more because we're at 40 minutes already. And I do have more things here. J. Jill is a really recent thing for me, especially linen. I'm definitely looking more at J. Jill because I'm noticing in videos, people are saying J. Jill can do very well. Bigger sizes that are linen. So I'm definitely doing more with that, okay? So J. Jill is something I'm keeping an eye out for. Bigger size pieces, maybe large. Medium, smalls, extra smalls, absolutely not. I don't care what it's made of. I just don't sell extra small and smalls in my closet at all very well, no matter what the brand. Free People. Free People is one of those things I think is just so oversaturated. And again, if you source it, they charge way too much for it. If I can get it for like around $5 or $6 and it's a substantial piece, I'll pick it up. Like if it's a sweater or something and I know I can sell it for $25 or $30, that's fine. But other than that, I don't seek out Free People on purpose. And I don't find it locally. So that's one of those things I'm really particular with. If I can get it through like an auction and get it really cheap and it's a nice piece, again, or sourcing through somebody else for like $5 or $6, $3 or $4, something like that, I'll snatch it up if I can sell it for $25 or $30. But I don't focus on Free People. I know everybody's mad about Free People. I know people are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, you don't do Free People?" I think it's just so overly saturated. Everybody is selling Free People, so you can't sell it for a decent price because everybody's selling it. So no, I don't seek it out. ATHLETA. ATHLETA can do well for me. I have sold some good ATHLETA pieces, but they're bigger size pieces. When I did my my thread-up boxes and they were athletic wear boxes, they were extra small and small. Those pieces have sold, some of them, but most of them I do have some here. Larger pieces, extra large pieces do better for me. So ATHLETA I do still kind of keep an eye out for, but I am particular with the brand. J. Crew. J. Crew is another one of those brands that can do really well if it's a larger size for me and a more substantial piece. Again, that was one of those pieces when I first started out. I had extra smalls and smalls, things that were tanks and things like that, and they didn't sell as well. So I stepped away from the brand for months. Now that I'm sourcing to other people and seeing the cogs on nicer pieces, again, I've had to learn through growth that certain brands, certain sizes do well, like Old Navy or Knox Rose. If it's large and extra large and it has good factors to it, they can still sell really well, even though it's Old Navy. J. Crew is the same for me. If it's a good size and it has factors to it, then it does well for me. Aritzia. Aritzia is a great brand. It can sell really high with certain pieces. I think I shared with y'all that I had the opportunity to buy an Aritzia box through Helpsy Source. I ended up not doing it because I didn't know what was going to come in the box. And I did a lot of comp checking, and if it was like a tank top, it wasn't going to sell for the cog of Aritzia. But if I can have somebody source me Aritzia for like $5, and it's a good piece, absolutely 100% to pick it up. So, yeah, Aritzia is definitely one of those brands. If you can get the cog like less than $6 and it's a good piece, absolutely 100% I would pick up Aritzia. Now, Eddie Bauer is one of those brands that I've recently stepped into. I have known some sellers that are really good sellers that sell Eddie Bauer really well. It's like large pieces and bigger and substantial pieces have good factors to them. So I recently got an Eddie Bauer box. If you have not seen that unboxing yet, I got some great pieces in that box. Super excited about listing them. Some were not really small pieces either, so I was really happy that I didn't get a bunch of small pieces and t-shirts. So Eddie Bauer is one of those kind of venturing out into, as well as, I don't know if I have it here, LL Bean. I'm going to target Eddie Bauer and LL Bean, the same thing here. LL Bean is another one of those things where if you have a good piece, LL Bean and Eddie Bauer are definitely like the colder piece season pieces, outdoor pieces. So since we're kind of going into those seasons right now, sweaters, jackets, substantial pieces, if the cog is low enough, it can do well. Land's End. Land's End is an extremely expensive brand. I think for me, if I find pieces that have great factors to them, I've definitely noticed that really, really good sellers who sell Land's End, it has to be the larger sizes and has good factors to it. So I'm definitely looking for pieces like that. I have a box I'm going to be doing an unboxing of here soon. I'm hoping it has some good factors to it. I'm testing that out. Chico's is another one of those brands for me that I found. I can find it everywhere in the thrift store, but it doesn't sell for me. Maybe it's the sizing. I honestly don't know, but Chico's does not do well for me. Tell me in the comments below if Chico's does well for you, and if it does well, is it because it's a larger size and has other factors to it? I have Chico's pants that are crop pants in my store. I got a thrift store, and they're really cute. Still haven't sold. Okay, I'm not really going to go over Revolve because we talked about Revolve in a video the other day. Again, such a vast thing. Revolve is one of those things that, yes, it can do well. A Goldie. You all know, if you saw my short here I did recently, a Goldie. I found a Goldie out in the wild at the garage sale. They sold so fast. And I also got them in those boxes that I was getting. Those really nice boxes from that company I still can't remember the name of, that y'all know what it is. It just bugs me that I can't think of the name of the company right now. But anyway, anytime I have a Goldie, no matter what it is, it sells super fast and for a really good price. Even skirts and shorts. I sell a Goldie for around $50 or more, even in skirts or shorts. Jeans are great. A Goldie, if you see it anywhere, y'all know to pick it up. My cog on a Goldie at the most has been $6 because of where I source from. Those boxes that where they changed the boxes through that company that I still can't think of right now. I can't believe that. They did up it even to $8 or $8.50. I still think if you can get a Goldie for $8.50, that is one of those brands where you can still turn around and double or triple your money on a Goldie. So even if you find it for $8 or $10, depending on the piece, I definitely think that that is one where if it's around $8 or $10, it's worth the cog. A Goldie is definitely huge. Okay, PRANA is one of those again. I have been selling more of my PRANA pieces. I think because we're heading into the outdoor season, more of my PRANA pieces have even sold since I did my PRANA box. But I have found even my PRANA pre-owned pieces do well. I had a PRANA pre-owned dress that I bought for me that it didn't fit well, and I paid like $8 for it. I listed it here recently. Within 2 weeks, it sold for a really good price. So PRANA is another one of those that if your cog is low enough, and it's a good piece and it's not saturated in the style of the piece, definitely pick PRANA up. Okay, Polo by Ralph Lauren is one of those where, for me, the men's pieces do better than the women's. I have sold sweaters, pants, polo shirts. PRANA does very, Polo by Ralph Lauren does very well for me in men's pieces. Not so much in women's, but men's pieces I do very well. So again, men's pieces, if you find Polo by Ralph Lauren, check the cog on it, but typically my pieces do very well with those. I've sold vests, I've sold pants, I've sold shorts, I've sold button-down shirts for men, polo shirts. Polo by Ralph Lauren does very well for me in men's. Eliza J, that's another great brand that you can get. Dresses by Eliza J, whether they're really nice formal dresses or basic dresses. If your cog is a good cog, for me, good cog on that is $4 to $6, maybe $8 depending on the piece. If it's a nice dress, I'd pay $8 for it, but no more than $8 for Eliza J. I'd never pay more than $8, even if it's an evening gown. Just because sometimes you can only sell it for $40 or $50. I wouldn't pay more than $8 for it, because if you're looking at $10 or $15 for the piece, to me it's not worth it to sell it for $50. I just want to make more than that for a nice evening gown. Bardot's a nice another brand. If you're not looking for Bardot dresses, they can do very well. Those again can come in those boxes that I got through the Nordstrom company that can't do very well, and my cog on them was like $5 or $6. And when they bumped it up to the $8, Bardot can still do really well for $8, because most of my Bardot dresses sell for like $35 to $50. So Bardot can do well. Okay, I'm going to do these last 4 things really quick here. I know this has been a long video and I apologize. BKE can do well for me as well. Jeans do okay depending on the cog on them. Adriana Goldsmeed. That's another really great brand. If your cog is low enough, for me, I still keep my cog less than $8 on Adriana Goldsmeed. In a box, if I pay $8 or $8.50, that's fine. With jeans, because you can sell them higher, but I am still very mindful. I don't pay $15 for Adriana Goldsmeed in like a box from Boutique by the Box or something. I just don't go that high. And then the last 2, Miss Me. I can sell Miss Me jeans. I find them out in the wild and I find them in my thrift store. They do very well for me. Miss Me jeans don't sell for as well as they used to, but I can still sell them for about $20 or $25. So if I find it for $5 or something, I still pick them up and they do well for me. And then my last one is Chubbies. This is a very new brand to me. I got in a men's box with Thread Up here a few months ago. They were men's shorts and they sold for $30. Yeah, I could not believe that. I've never seen shorts like that for men sell that well, unless it's Patagonia. So Chubbies. And I'm going to have everything up here. I'm just going to put it out in writing what each of these brands is. So if you see Chubbies in a box, that men's piece, Chubbies, they were shorts in that men's box. I almost didn't comp them because I thought these are shorts. But I'm not going to worry about comping them. But I thought, you know what? This is a very new brand to me. I've never heard of it. When I ran the comps, I was shocked at how well they sold in the comps. So I definitely priced mine up. I had them listed for $30 for men's shorts, new with tags, and they sold outright. Somebody bought them outright. They sold within like a week. They sold really quick. So I hope this was a blessing to you guys. Seeing brands that I've been around for like the last 8 or 10 months, brands that I tried out that didn't do well for me, brands that I bought that, you know what, they still kind of do well for me, and brands that I've learned recently that are doing well for me, brands that did really well for people that don't do well for me, all different kinds of categories. I've tried to bring to you guys what I've learned over the last 8 or 10 months in brands. Again, some of these may be different for you guys. Some of them you could source really well and they do really well. Some of you can't source. When you get them, they sell like hotcakes. Some brands that I can do well with that maybe you don't do well with. But I hope this was a blessing to you, especially if you're fairly new to reselling. I've been running into a lot of people in my lives who are brand new to reselling on Poshmark, guys. So videos like this, whether we're seasoned or not, things that are been really, really popular and oversaturated, or things that have been really, really popular when out of season or are coming back in season. So I wanted to put this together for you. Again, thank you so much for joining us for our weekly reseller chat. I was thrilled to bring this to you. And guys, if you have not subscribed yet, I do have more videos coming out. I have some more unboxings coming up. Some more content about eBay and other anthropology brands coming out, different things like that. So do feel free to subscribe to me. It is completely free to subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you know when we're doing these videos. Again, happy 4th of July to y'all. I'm just so thrilled to bring this content to you on such a great holiday. And guys, I'll see you in my next video.